Coach Allison with us from GTCC. Coach, good to see you.
Nice to see you.
And people should not get Coach Allison confused, that outstanding NASCAR driver from years past. I'm sure you may hear that occasionally, and that's how these North Carolinians think sometimes about the Allison family being geared and steered into NASCAR. You're geared and steered toward basketball and taking your team to the national championships next week in Overland Park, Kansas. But how did you get these girls in this position, Coach? I don't think they've ever been there before.
They have not. We were really close last year. We lost the championship game by 6. My first 2 years here, we won the region both times, but we had to play a district game because we didn't have enough teams in the conference to be an automatic qualifier. So we had won and lost to the Georgia region in order to go to the national tournament. In the last 2 or 3 years, we got close but didn't make it. And then this year, we took that last step.
It's got to feel good. Got to be some satisfaction. You coming to Jamestown, just had a Jamestown kid in here, a little blind free from Raxville High School. You come to GTCC in Jamestown and go to work there and get this team and build this program. There's got to be some satisfaction on your part.
Very much so. I was very happy when the former president, Dr. Cameron, called me and said, hey, we really want you to come in here and to build this program.
So you came in from the ground up.
They offered it to me. They offered the job to me the very first year, and I actually turned it down. Had some stuff going on in New York. Had an unbelievable team come back. Didn't want to bail on a team that I thought was going to win a national title. We'd been in 3 straight national title games, so I went back and they were looking for a coach. I said, look, there's an AAU girl down here, a lady that I've known for a long time. I think would be a fabulous job. So they hired her. She did an unbelievable job. They went like 22-10, and she had a real nice team. And then she left to go to Western Carolina. So Dr. Cameron called and said, you know, what do we need to do to get you here? So I said, well, my family's got to buy in. So my wife came down to my 2 small children, and they looked around, they loved it. So that's how this all began.
It's good for you, too, because the national championship, like you just said, and I'd read about some information about you in the school. You'd been there before. This is no new stage to you. You've been in these championships before.
Correct. This is my 6th time to the national tournament. The first 5 times we have advanced at least until the Final Four, and we've had 3 national championship game appearances.
And for the GTCC girls, the Titans, first time ever going there. That's got to feel pretty good for them.
It's great. You know, it's very cliche to have coaches say, I love my team works really hard. I've been doing this for 17 years. This is the best personality-wise team that I've ever coached. Kids get along. There's no problem. Every day you walk in the gym and you know exactly the effort that you're going to get from everybody. And as a coach, that's the first step to finding a really good program. When kids come in the gym every day and they're self-motivated and they work, they're going to achieve some things.
Talk about your background. 17 years in this coaching business. How did you end up where you are now, and how did you get even closer to it in the years past? How does all this come together?
Well, I went to college and I wanted to make money, so I said, well, what do I need to do to make money? And they said, well, do something in the healthcare industry. I said, okay. So I got a nursing home administrator's license.
Wow.
So I worked in Vermont as a nursing home administrator. I was there probably 6 weeks, and I called my fiance at the time, was now my wife, and I said, I hate this. I don't want to do this. I want to be in sports. So quit. Go do something in sports. I said, okay. So I called my old junior college coach, who I was really good friends with, Phil Gaffney, who was actually wound up being down here. And I said, Coach Gaffney, I need to be in sports. I'm not a nursing home administrator. And he said, well, funny story, I'm going to be getting a new job. I'm going to be going to Mohawk Valley in Utica. I said, well, I'm coming with you. He's like, I have $1,800 assistant coaching stipend for you. And he goes, that's about it. I said, I don't care. I've got enough money put away. I'm going to come. I'm going to be your assistant. Basketball, I love. It's not my first love. I am a baseball, softball person.
Really?
First and foremost, I enjoy it significantly more than I do basketball. So I went and I helped out Coach Gaffney for a couple of years, and then the women's coach resigned 3 weeks into practice. The athletic director came to me and said, will you coach the women's team?
At Mohawk Valley.
Correct. And I said, absolutely not. I said, there's no way I'm coaching women's basketball. I'm way too intense. It will never work.
Wow.
He's like, well, this is on a Friday. He goes, well, why don't you think about it over the weekend? I said, sure, I'll think about it. So go home, talk to my wife. I just had a baby in that August. She's 2.5 months old at that point. I say to my wife, should I do this? She's like, no, absolutely not. This would not be a good idea. You are too intense. It's never going to work. I said, all right. Not a word spoken about it all weekend. Monday morning, I'm putting a tie on at 7 o'clock in the morning. My wife goes, I think you should take the women's coaching job. I go, what?
That late in the game, huh?
I go, we talked about this on Friday. He said it would be the worst idea ever. I said, okay. I said, why would that be a good idea? She said, well, it'll be good. You'll learn some patience. You have a daughter. You haven't really been around small children. I said, okay. I go, I'm going to go and I'm going to do it the way I've coached men. I'm going to do everything exactly the same, except instead of a backdoor alley-oop, it's going to be a backdoor bounce pass for a layup. I said, everybody's got to buy in. So I went, huddled up all the kids, and we had traveled together the year before and had 5 or 6 returning kids, so they all knew who I was. And I said, if you want me to coach, I'll coach, but everybody's got to buy in, and we're going to do it the same exact way that we run the men's team. I said, so I'm going to give you 5 minutes to talk about it. I'll be in my office. Come and get me. Let me know what you decide. I walk out of the gym. I hear a bunch of hoot and holler. I'm like, oh, boy, they don't want me. About a minute later, a girl comes out. She said, Coach, we're all in. I said, okay. So bring her in. And I told my assistant, I said, I'm going to challenge her from day one. I'm going to get on her today at practice. Because if she buys in, she's a great player. Everybody else will follow suit. First day she did something wrong. I started yelling at her. Just inventing some reasons to yell at her. She's looking at me right now. Yup, you're right, Coach. You're right, Coach. Turn to my assistant. I go, this is going to wind up working. Watch this. Long story short, we go 29-3 in the regular season. 29-3. We go to the national tournament. We beat the number 1 team in the country. We're the 8th seed. We beat the number 1 seed in the first round of the quarterfinals. We get to the Final Four. The last play of the quarterfinal game, our best player gets hurt. She doesn't play in the semifinals. We lost to a team that we probably would have beaten. We wind up losing. We wound up finishing 4th in the country. And here we are 13 years later. Never went back to coaching guys.
Wow. So you look at it too. You went from being like a nursing home administrator to a psychologist. That psychology lesson you took somewhere sure helped out with that girls' practice.
I was very lucky. My assistant that came with me from the men's team was a psychology major in college, and the lady that was the assistant that stuck around was a school psychiatrist. So I had a psychologist and a psychiatrist. So I was well equipped right from the get-go with that.
Tell us exactly where Mohawk Valley is located. Go back to this area. Where was that at?
It's located in Utica, New York, which is central. If you took a pin and New York State, it's dead center of state. It's 25 miles east of Syracuse. It's Syracuse country. Everybody there is a Syracuse fan.
Almost sounds like a hockey region, Mohawk Valley.
It is. Yeah. Very big. The Utica Devils used to have a minor league hockey team there. It was really big. They have a team now, the Comets. I'm not sure who they were affiliated with, but big hockey area.
And you made the move from there to here. That was the next big move. How long have you been here now with GTCC?
This is my 6th season. And when I initially took the job, the understanding was we were going to try to really amp up the basketball program. And then by the 2nd year, we were going to start softball. Because I coached softball at Mohawk Valley.
That would be a good combination for you there, too, to get that rolling. Yeah, you could do both.
Fantastic.
Be a full-time coach.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what that was the intent. And then Dr. Cameron had some health issues, and he resigned. And they brought in the interim and then the new president, and they're all very supportive of athletics, but I think their vision of athletics is a little different.
Smaller scale?
Yeah, than Dr. Cameron. Dr. Cameron was a college athlete, so he saw it in a little bigger scope.
Who's the AD now?
Kirk Chandler is the AD. He's the men's basketball coach. Correct.
So you got to work with Kirk Chandler, got to work with John Barrow. Those are good guys to work with.
Love John Barrow. Probably my best friend down here.
He's a good one.
Very close. Great guy, great coach. He has a very tough situation not having a field to play at. He's got to go rent rooms. That's where they play their games. They practice at Deep River. It's not ideal, but he's done a very good job. He's a very good coach.
And maybe with his help and maybe with the help of Coach Chandler, maybe one day you can still get that softball team going, right?
I would love to.
It would be a good thing. It would help with the student body. Any extra sports you can have would help balance that. I mean, because in the spring they're looking for something to do, I'm sure.
And enrollment, we went through everybody had the boon of when the economy turned and everybody's enrollment spiked, and that's coming back down.
Yeah.
So now all the colleges.
I heard like Guilford College having some problems with that too,
absolutely.
especially with the continuing education they're dropping down some. But you guys, I mean, there's never been any lack of student student participation as far as attending GTCC? Because you got the campus in Jamestown, got the campus out on East Wendover. I think you got maybe one in High Point. You guys are in downtown Greensboro too, well spread out.
Very much, and they just opened the brand new one in Oak Ridge, the Cameron campus. It's unbelievable. It's a totally green campus.
Yeah.
It's unbelievable.
How's it like to get all those players together for practice? And you practice against the Ragsdale YMCA?
We do. Yeah, not an ideal situation, but the Ragsdale YMCA is very good to us. The gentleman, Carlos Jordan, that runs the programming side of it, he's just an absolute pleasure. He's very good at letting us kind of do our own thing whenever we need, and he rearranges his schedule. So he's been a blessing for us.
How about the two ladies you brought with you tonight, Nyla Allen and Selena Lasada? Talk about what those girls, it's good to have local kids, because sometimes you look for local talent, it may not be available in a certain year. You may have to go outside the area to bring in the talent. What about those two young ladies, what they bring to the table?
What unbelievable. Before anything about basketball, they're just absolutely great kids. They're great leaders. They're fun to be around. They're both fantastic basketball players. They're both going to get a scholarship. They've both been recruited Division I. They're not going to graduate, so they're both going to go Division II. Just their skill set is impressive. Their personality is even more impressive. They're just unbelievable kids.
Now, when you get the kid at the GTCC basketball team level, how do you convince those kids this is right for you? Some of them may feel like, hey, we got turned down by Division I, Division II, Division III. Some may feel like I was at a Division I or 2 or 3 school and things didn't go right there. I decided to come here. How do you convince them that GTCC is right for them?
The level of competition, we could be a very good high-level Division II program. We could play in the CIAA, the Peach Belt Conference. We could compete with all those teams. We go scrimmage them every year in preseason and do very favorably. We try to get kids for a couple different reasons. If they're under-recruited, if their grades aren't up to par, or if monetarily the package they offer that they've received from other schools isn't up to their liking. That's our draw. We bring them in. They know they're going to get coached. They're going to get pushed. Academically, they're going to finish here as a junior. So that's our draw. That's how we get kids. I don't try to recruit kids that can't play anywhere else. I want kids that would be great players at Division III or great players at Division II. That's how you win at this level. You get kids above where you're at.
And you said they'll finish as a junior. Do they get 3 years eligibility, or they finish as a sophomore, then go to be a junior in the college?
Correct. They can only play 2 years for us.
Gotcha.
Yeah, correct.
Who will you be playing in that first round national championship tournament game? Do you know who you'll be playing?
Yes, we play Schoolcraft. They're from Michigan. I'm not exactly sure where in Michigan. They come from an unbelievable region, very difficult region. Typically, I've seen them play a couple times. They usually shoot the ball really well. They do a lot of the dribble drive stuff and spread the floor and try to shoot it. They're not big. Saw their roster, talked to a couple coaches they've played against. They're not real big, but they shoot the ball unbelievable.
It's important that you're going to get to go to that tournament in Overland Park, Kansas. How important is it to get out there? Let's win that first round game. How important is that?
It sets up everything for you. I was very happy with our seed. There's 16 teams, in the tournament. We got the 6th seed, which is pretty impressive when you consider the fact that 14 of the 16 teams have been there before. We're one of the only 2 teams that have never been there, and we got the 6th seed. So that's a testament to the kids. I'm not in any way expecting us to go in there and roll over Schoolcraft, but I think we have an opportunity, if we play well, to be successful. If we can get our feet under us and get that first game, then we play the host school, Johnson County, in the second round, who was #1 in the nation for the first 9 polls. They're unbelievable every year.
It was not all that easy to get there. I think you can't take things for granted. Cape Fear gave you a heck of a game in that championship game. Talk about that game. Go back there again, because that was pretty tight down the stretch from what we hear.
We played them 3 times this year, and every game fit the same exact script. We were down early, came back, and pulled away late. Championship game started off about as disastrously as we could. We got down 14 early. Everything was going wrong. Just called a timeout and just said, we need to take a deep breath, relax, do what got us here. And from about the 4-minute mark to go in the first half, when we were down 12, cut it to 5 at the break. And in the second half, our depth and the defensive pressure we put on really wore them down. We won the second half by, I think, 22.
What about the free throw shooting? I read that was also kind of crucial down the stretch for you.
It's been our Achilles heel all year. We lost 3 games this year. 2 of the 3 games we lost directly because of missed free throws. So we really, really stressed it and worked on it the last 4 or 5 weeks of the season. And we picked a great last 2 days of the tournament to shoot unbelievable. The semifinals, I think we were 39 of 43. In the championship game, I don't remember exactly what we were, but the 2 point guards in the last 6 minutes minutes, went 19 for 20.
Give those girls a shout out, those 2 point guards.
Oh, that is Latricia Smith, who's a Western Guilford
I
graduate.
thought she might have been. I saw that Smith. I knew we had Selena from Western Guilford. I thought Latricia might also be a Western Guilford product too. Yeah.
She's a great kid too. She hurt her shoulder last year. It really hurt us. She had a red shirt. She had to have surgery. She had a bump in her shoulder. We had to get that taken care of. So it really hurt us not to have her last year. And she's come back and played great.
Free throw is good. That's a good thing.
Fantastic.
Whoever worked that shoulder did a good job.
Very much so. And then the other one, the other point guard is Anissa Linder from George Washington High School in Danville, Virginia. And the two of them really saved us. You know, they're fouling to try to stop the clock to get the ball back, and then we're stepping up every time, making both free throws. So that when that happens, you can never make the comeback.
And basketball, as much as any sport, baseball, softball, whatever, football, is fun to visualize. Visualization. Help us visualize. Where do we see Nyla Allen on the court? Kind of give us a visual. We've got basketball on the TV inside Shane Fierce. I got tournaments going on, but take us into a mental visualization of where Nyla would be on the court, what she's doing during the game.
Well, she can do a little bit of everything, but her bread and butter is she flashes from the low block out to the high post. She faces up, and she's an unbelievable athlete. So she'll just, if she has any room, she's going to rise up over you and shoot the ball. And if you close out, she's going by. She's unbelievably quick. And then in the open floor, she's unguardable. She's a mid-major Division I track athlete. So if she gets out in the open floor, she's unguardable.
I read where she got, the first time I saw it was 22 rebounds, the second time I saw it was 23 rebounds, but how do you get that number together in such a big game? That's a lot of boards. That's like going back to the Charles Oakley days, back when he got to rebound in the creation. How did she get all those rebounds?
You know what's funny is she hurt her knee a little bit about 3 weeks ago, and she hasn't been as explosive offensively. So I said, if you're not going to be able to score, you need to do something different to help us win. You're our best player. You need to do something to help us win. So the championship game, she missed 4 or 5 foul line jump shots early. And during one of the timeouts, she came over, she put her arm around me, she goes, "Coach, I'm going to get every defensive rebound the rest of the game." She had 18 defensive rebounds in the game. Just that, she's that kind of kid.
Selfish, huh?
Yeah, right. I said you can't let your teammates get some stats.
Yeah, in a good way, in a big way. Selena Lasada, take us to her position on the court, where she's playing, what she's doing during the course of the game. Let's see that.
Great low post scorer. She's Kevin McHale. She's got every up and under, Barkley move, reverse pivot, everything. The one thing that she's been unbelievable at this year is most bigs don't want to give up their body and take charges. The semifinal game against Catawba Valley, we were at a 2-point lead with 3 minutes to go. The last 4 minutes of the game, even before that, Selena took 3 charges when our guards got beat off the dribble. So that's 3 possessions where they're at the rim ready to score or get fouled, and she slides over it and gives up her body to take a charge. That's a difference maker. Those are winning basketball plays.
So that's the game changer right there.
Very much so. Doesn't show up in the box score, but it's the difference in the game.
So she's playing like Kevin McHale on offense, very deliberate, very precise, but making sure she gets the job done, fundamentally sound, and on defense like a Christian Leitner, big tall guy's going to take that charge.
Absolutely. And she's a really good post defender, and she blocks some shots. You know, she's legitimately 6'1". It's not one of the 5'10" kids that we listed 6'1". She's 6'1". Mm-hmm. So she'll come over and block shots, and the next time someone goes to the basket, she'll act like she's going to block shots. She's going to slide over and take the charge. So she really is very disruptive to teams' offenses.
And we watched the women's game on TV, and you probably watch it too, Division I women, or whatever division. You see those women on TV, do you look sometimes at those games and say, my girls can play with them?
There's no question. I would say of the 12 kids on my roster, 8 of them could play Division I basketball in the right situation.
When you're driving around, because I think when we talked earlier, like you said, you've actually heard of our little program here before, Shanford.
Absolutely.
And when you drive around and kind of get to know these schools, what are some schools you take a look at as far as, is there talent in this area right now you look at all around this Triad area you try to draw from? I know you have to have a strategic plan ready. This kid might be going somewhere else. Still got to keep her in mind. What area around here, what teams and schools impress you? Can you mention some of those?
Sure, absolutely. I mean, I love the whole area. This is unbelievable. The coaching in this area is fantastic. In New York, a lot of times I would get kids who are unbelievable athletes and they'd come in and have no idea how to play. These kids come in and they're not only fantastic athletes, they know how to play. Our roster this year, we have 12 kids. 11 of the 12 are within an hour of campus. We only have 1 kid from outside. We brought in a crazy clown from Nebraska. The rest of the team are all within an hour of campus.
Man, that's pretty darn good.
That's a testament to our local basketball. If you can just recruit the better players from our area, you're going to be really successful.
And how many players players would you lose off this year's team? Typically, how many do you lose year to year?
We try to keep it balanced. This year it actually works out perfectly. We're going to lose 6. We have 6 back, but we also have 2 kids redshirting that's practiced with us all year. So we'll have 8 returners next year, which we had this year as well, which is a big reason why I've been successful. It's hard at this level to start over every year. When you have some talent coming back, they know what you're trying to accomplish. A lot of other teams, every year there are a group of 10 new kids and 1 or 2 returners.
Now, those 2 that redshirted have been pretty good practice players for you this year?
One of them's fantastic. One of them might start for us. And the other one is a girl that can really, really shoot. And we decided we had enough kids that could really shoot. She needed to expand her game and work on her game. And she's come in, and now she can put the ball on the floor a little bit.
We were talking about how you got into this. Were you a basketball man coming up back? You mentioned softball, baseball, very strong. Were you a basketball man, too, coming up back in the day?
Oh, yeah. I played in high school. I played 4 years of college basketball. I played soccer, basketball, and baseball in college.
In college?
Yeah, I hated soccer, but I played it to stay in shape.
One thing you might have liked, you must have liked staying busy.
Very much so. That's my personality. I have 100 things going on at all times. So I need to keep myself occupied. I was never a great basketball player. I was always, I started 3 to 4 years of college, but, I'm a 5'5" kid. I can't jump over a phone book. But I always thought like a coach. I always tried to see what was going on in the floor and what we're trying to do and what the other team's trying to accomplish. And I, make mental notes because I knew at some point I wanted to coach.
And the kid we saw here the other night, little Brian Free, you probably can appreciate and identify with him.
He's fantastic. I saw him play over Christmas. My daughter goes to Jamestown Middle School. She was with me at a tournament. I love this kid. He's my favorite kid I've seen in the last 5 years.
How has your team been received by those within the GTCC community and even around the Ragsdale area? That's kind of your side of town. How's the team been received by the students and by the faculty and people over there?
The students are very supportive. The faculty and staff are getting on board now. We've had a few diehard fans that have been here since the beginning. Winning this Region 10 tournament's been eye-opening for some of the staff. I don't think a lot of people at the school understood exactly how talented the team is.
I think there's so many cases sometimes in schools, even community college, junior college, but some colleges feel like we have a team just to make sure we give the students something to do. With you, it's not just something, it's not just an activity. This is actually a serious operation.
We are a state institution, so I do have an open tryout. Having said that, I don't think I've had one kid that has contributed in my 6 years here that's a walk-on. All these kids were pointedly brought here for a purpose, to be a high-caliber basketball team.
It feels good to be in that position, too, I'm sure.
Very much so. This is more what I envisioned when I got here. We went 26-6 last year and lost in a regional title game, and this year we're 27-3 going to the national tournament. That's what I envisioned when I got here.
What is your plan of attack? Because you're a man doing 1,000 things at one time, a lot of wheels turning always. What is the long-term plan? I don't think you mind sharing this with me because you share a lot of things tonight. What's the long-term plan of attack for your sports coaching career? What do you got in mind down the road?
Watch my kids grow up. My older daughter is the 7th grade at Jamestown. I just left the game over there. Watch her hit a home run. My younger daughter's in 4th grade. So I'm not going to go anywhere. I've had opportunities to leave and move up in level. I like this level. I feel like I make a difference in kids' lives. Sometimes when you get kids at Division I level, they come from 2-parent homes, medium income, that everything is kind of normal for them. I get a lot of kids that being different is normal to them. Try to get them squared away on the right path. I enjoy that. My kids really, really, really love the Ragsdale district, so the thought of leaving would drive them crazy. I've mentioned, hey, we've had a real good season, maybe I should look for some jobs, and my kids were very, very, very against it. So
they're happy with the friends they have made.
They love it.
Type thing.
They both play travel softball. My daughter plays AAU basketball, so they're entrenched in the community.
What's that elementary school over near Rags? Is that Millis Road?
Yeah, that's Millis. My daughter goes to Pilot Elementary.
Oh, that's the one over on High Point Road there.
In Adams Farm.
Yeah, exactly. That's a nice one. Good community. Now, talk about your daily routine. Now, do you just coach all day? You go to the office, get back home coaching all day? What all are you doing at GTCC?
I wish.
Yeah, that's what the dream's always been. That's why some of these guys, I'm going to get into coaching because I'm going to head down to the office in the morning, kick back, drink a few cups of coffee, watch some film, maybe make a few notes, draw up some game plans, some practice that day. How about your daily routine?
When I first got here, that's pretty much what I did.
Yeah.
And then Then I worked with student activities for a while, and then one day I walked in and they said, "You're going to go to admissions it's on a Friday. You're going to go and work in the admissions office on Monday." I go, "No, I'm not." They go, "Yes, you are." I go, "Absolutely not. I'm not working in admissions."
You told them that at GT?
Absolutely. Yeah. And they go, "You don't really have a choice." I go, "Well, who's my union representative?" They go, "You're in the South. You're in the South. There is no union." I go, "All right."
The union was in the North, right?
When do I report? So I've been, and it's funny because I absolutely love it. I love it. It's fantastic. The director of admissions, Jesse Cross, he's unbelievable. He's the best person to work for. He's so supportive of everything. He appreciates the fact that I don't try to cut corners on that end. I'm in charge of 5 different limited enrollment programs at the college. So I think he was hesitant at first. Is this guy just going to coach? Or is he going to do his other job? And when I proved to him that I'm going to do the job and do it well, he's given me tons of responsibility. So I do that every day, and then early to mid-afternoon, I leave and I'm the basketball coach.
Man, I tell you, for the admissions job, now this is why you're probably learning something that's going to help you down the road too. This is putting you in a position to pick up a whole new area of expertise, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
And plus, you keep an eye on the players you're trying to get in the school too. Right?
That part of it's fantastic. I'm in charge of, getting their transcripts in order and their testing in order. So that part of it's actually make things easier getting kids from the recruitment portion to the enrolled portion. I'm more ingrained in that, so that part of it actually has helped tremendously.
You look at this right now, if you had to go back and do all this over again, because it's been a busy run for you and a lot of wheels turn all the time, you go back and do it the same exact way, or would you maybe tweak a little bit, do things a little bit different here or there?
When I first got here, we could recruit whoever we wanted. And then the whole thing came out with Carolina giving all the out-of-state football players in-state tuition, and there was a little bit of a backlash here. I recruited a bunch of kids from New York, and we were super successful. And if I had to do over again, I would have went out locally and spread the word more to get some of the local kids. There were some local players that were really talented my first couple of years that I didn't get because I hadn't spent enough time in the local high schools. So if I had to do over again, I would have definitely done a better job of going out locally and bringing in kids early.
Laid more of the local groundwork then.
Absolutely.
Is there ever a period of time of frustration? You get a player like that in there that's going to be playing for you, but then you can't keep him because the academics or something don't work out?
We do a pretty good job. My assistant coaches, DeJuan Bowe, Tiffany Watkins, Sherelle Butts, and Mitchell Jennings do a fantastic job. They're responsible for a couple kids each, and they do grade monitoring every 2 weeks. So typically, we don't lose kids to academics, which is, that's the knock on junior college. Yes.
I'm not trying to put the two teams against each other. Sometimes the men's team has had that problem in the past to a certain degree.
Absolutely, you're absolutely correct. They've not done as good a job, and each coach has their own way of trying to monitor their team's academics. I'm more hands-on and proactive. It's a coach's choice on how they do things.
And you look at 20 years down the road, where do you see yourself in? But 20 years, those daughters will be graduating from high school, maybe even through a college. Where do you see yourself in 20 years from now?
I'm going to be living on a beach in Florida in the winter, and I'm going to be living in Queens with season tickets to New York Mets.
In the summer and springtime.
I'm going to be up in Queens watching the Mets. I really don't follow any basketball.
Yeah.
I watch college basketball. I love high school basketball more than college. I don't follow any teams, really. I don't follow the NBA. But I'm a diehard New York Met fan. I can tell you players all the way down to their rookie league ball.
Wow, I used to watch the Mets back years ago when I was in college in Lynchburg, Virginia. Had guys up there back then. Jeff Reardon was there.
Oh, yeah.
And back in the day, they had some talent up there. No doubt about it.
Fantastic. And we're on the rebound finally after 7 or 8 absolutely horrible years.
If you're a Mets fan, you're a diehard man, man.
Very much so. And you do the Grasshoppers, correct?
Yeah, the Grasshoppers, right.
One of our former players met a guy, one of the pitchers that pitched here a couple years ago, and they're engaged to be married to Jose Urena. Dana Gildea played for me, and they're engaged, and he's at the Marlins Major League camp.
He's working his way up.
He's their number 2 prospect right now, so he'll be in the majors next year.
He was a kid who was here, just tall and lean, all tall, lean, and skinny to kind of hang around, don't have a lot to say because he kind of get used to the area.
Right.
That kid could do well.
Needs to come up with a third pitch. So, Jose, if you're listening with Dana, work on your curve or your breaking ball, get something that spins a little bit.
Who else do you look for to do well for the Mets this year?
Our young pitchers are great. My daughter's the biggest David Wright fan. So we actually, one of the teams in our conference is in the Tidewater area, which is, he lives in the off season.
Yeah,
so I
sent Tidewater AAA team, right?
Right, yeah, and he's from Chesapeake. So I sent the Mets PR director email before we went up there, said, hey, going up to that area. My daughter's a diehard Met fan. We love the Mets. You know, we're in North Carolina. We don't get to see him much. If he's around, we'd love for him to stop in. I go, there's not going to be more than 30 people there, so he's not going to be harassed too much. And I actually responded, said he would definitely come, but he's actually up in New York doing a Santa gig that weekend. So he was in New York. So we're going to do it every year until we get him.
A Santa gig.
Yeah, he goes and puts on a Santa act.
Sounds like Mick Foley. I'm sure you're Mick Foley does that kind of thing,
Does
too.
he?
You ever met Alan Askenazi with the batting center?
I know Al. Yep.
He's kind of a Mets fan,
He's a
too.
diehard like me.
Yeah, I figured you guys might have a connection there, no doubt about that. Who's the coach that led you down the path that you have chosen here? Who's the coach that kind of led you this way?
Phil Gaffney.
Yeah.
He's Phil. By the way, Phil won his regional. He's in the final 16 for the men's Division I. He's in Georgia.
Georgia, down south, yeah.
Phil is an unbelievable coach, an unbelievable recruiter. He's the best person. I've never met a person that's more giving of their time to other coaches. If you look at his tree, it's unbelievable. His nephew that played for him is in the national tournament for Division III. His daughter's a head coach in New York. I've had some varied success. His coaching tree is unbelievable. Phil is the best, and he's been so good to all of us. I don't know how he does it. He's got so much time for everybody.
You know, I asked earlier Brian Free about it, had a snapshot of his basketball life, kind of going back to that photo, that selfie of your basketball life, because I've been watching these commercials during the ACC tournament. They had to, I want to be like Mike. I love that commercial. Michael Jordan, like his younger man playing basketball door with the kids and drinking the Gatorade, all that stuff. And it's, man, it makes you feel good about what it was back then. It's a nice photo. What did the photograph look like in your life, basketball life?
For me as a player, like I said, I was very mediocre. My probably be in high school. I hit it. Everybody's got an arch rival. We played our arch rival. I played terrible. I'm 5'5". We're down one with about a second and a half to go, and my friend that I played AAU with is next to me, and he turned to me and goes, you know, the kid's going to miss his free throw. And I said, I'm going to get a rebound and score over you. Of course, we both start chuckling. Kid misses it, hit the corner backboard, got it. I ball faked, he jumped, I did up and under, laid it at the buzzer, we won by one. Big cover of the newspaper, Allison, it's game winner.
You gotta love that.
It was fantastic.
You still got that paper somewhere?
I do, actually.
Ooh, you gotta keep that.
But for coaching, beating the #1 team in the nation, being the 8th seed and beating the #1 team in the country, that's something I'll never ever forget.
And that was which year?
I was at 2003, my very first year coaching women's basketball.
Went to the Nationals and beat the #1 team in the country. Man. And you can actually, as we like to say to talk about this basketball, you can capture some of those moments there and use those when you go back out there this year, right?
Absolutely. We talk about it all the time. I try to give some of the experience that I've had and share it with them. Some of them have been on really good high school teams, some of them not. So some of them have played really high-level basketball, and some of them, this is the highest they've ever played.
And this might be it. You never know.
And that's what we say, let's not take anything for granted. We have this moment, let's live in this moment. Let's not worry about next year. Let's not worry about who's going to give me a scholarship. Let's take care of this next week of basketball.
And close it out with this, because you left a little door open we can ask about real quickly. Going to GTCC, is there any scholarship or financial help?
Yes, absolutely. We're Division II. We have scholarship. The only thing we cannot do is we cannot do anything with housing. Housing can come from financial aid. I don't take the kids financial aid if they qualify. So if they get a scholarship and they are full financial aid, they can come here for free for 2 years, which 90% of our players do.
That's what it's all about. I mean, they're putting GTCC on the map, no doubt about it.